Kadamawe, Haile Selassie, and Empress Menen, great love. Yes, it is with immense joy that I full up on this occasion for the Queen of Queens, Empress of all Empresses, I take Menen. So we greet the Rastafari family, the elders, brethren and sistren, and the youth temples give thanks for their attendance at this time. Her Majesty show I without the woman, without the role of the woman, no aspect of I redemption would be fulfilled. So we give thanks that even within the small gathering, I do have health experts, nurses, legal representation, attorneys, educators within sisterhood here. So having said that, we would love to pull up and introduce one of the first sisters that would give an attribution through the powers of the Most High, because she's here at this hour. Give thanks again for everyone. Bless up the youths them again. The future. Yes, so at this time I would love to introduce Empress Marina Blake, attorney at law, several years of expertise.
Right. So, So we give thanks once again for for this occasion to celebrate the birthday of our beloved Mother Empress Menen, and to give us the chance to get together to fellowship one with another. We don't get enough of these opportunities, and whenever we get them, we ought to make the most of them. So I would like to use this opportunity to speak to the sisters directly, and to say to us that remind us of our role as wives and as mothers, especially. I know we serve in a lot of different capacities. We are daughters to our aged parents, and in addition to whatever roles we occupy, whatever profession we are in. But I want to call particular attention to our role as wives and as mothers, because I see a lot of Rastafari youth nowadays going astray, and in fact, a lot of our youth are leaving Rastafari culture. Clearly, we have not given them anything that has inspired them to want to stay. It is as though the culture has not provided them with what they are looking for, and so we have to take the lead on this, sisters. A lot of us are raising children even without kingman, without the father present. So we have to, play a double, fill a double role. So, but what I want to say to the sisters is this: we have to step up to the plate. We can't look to say, well, the father's not doing this or the father's not doing that. The more he's not doing, the more you're going to have to do. And it may seem unfair, but sometimes you just got to take one for the team.
Yes, sir.
You understand? And so, so that I want to call up on the sisters to redouble our efforts. I want to ask the brethren as well to respect us, give us our honor, give us our due, give us our praise. You understand? Give us our respect. Right? But I'm asking the sisters to exercise patience. The more your kingman is misbehaving, is the more you need to behave. Do you understand? The more he's misbehaving. As I have said, when my husband is misbehaving, I say to him, even when you forget that you're a God, I know that you're a God. You understand? I know who you are. I know who you're supposed to be. So I will ride out this one. You understand? I will see you through this one. You understand? So I call upon the sisters to exercise patience, to exercise love, to exercise care, and listen, and don't, tit for tat, don't try to destroy, because I've seen empresses try to destroy their kingman or their ex-kingman. But listen, if I destroy my husband, I destroy my children. So then, that's the bigger picture. We have to keep the bigger picture in mind. So I just want to reiterate to my beautiful sisters here again tonight, our role as queens, as empresses, and let us walk in that role that we have been assigned. Blessed love, honorable.
Rastafari. Honored to have a herbal consultant with many years of expertise. She is a manufacturer of many products, healing products, and she's a known healer. Without further ado, I would love to introduce Sister Cuchy.
Yes, last year, and it was wonderful, and it's the same celebration. Friday at my radio program, I had to pick up Empress Menen and let the people know of the work that she had been doing, and I kind of broadcast the book that I have been reading for over and over. That's my inspiration. And one thing that I emphasize about our Empress, she valued the women and she valued education. So when the sister, attorney at law, mentioned that even when the brothers are falling short of the glory of God, the sister them can't stand for them. You have to remind them that they're still within the vibration, right, sis? Yes. So we give thanks to be here just to give this information. So we just hail up our queen, but I'm a more Empress Menen. That's my inspiration. Yes. One of the things that she said, war is no good. Just simple. War is no good. So when war is not within a country, and a country war is still within the family. As the sister said, a kingman is our strength, and we are the balance. So when he's acting up, or we're acting up, it's just good to just go to Empress Menen and His Majesty and just listen to the word that they have been putting forward to us. You don't see no negativity, no distension, just unity all the time. And if you read the book of Empress Menen, I didn't bring a copy with me. The words that His Majesty described as Empress Menen just bring tears to your eyes to know one woman can be so perfect. No matter how many times the brethren want to say she was married or wasn't married, that's not important. It's the work that she has done and the legacy that she has left us across the woman to walk this earth proud. You know? So, this is my very good sister. Her name is Sistah Fenton, and she's a holistic practitioner. She's one of my inspirations as well. And she pick up holistic health in terms of food. Food is our medicine. And many of us as Rastafari walk in this tribe, it's nice to say we are vegan, we are raw, we don't eat this and we don't eat that. But when you really examine the diet, might as well they just go and eat what they say they're not eating, because they're not doing their body any justice. They're not putting the proper nutrient within their system to sustain life. Many sisters now having miscarriages, cancer, all kind of stuff in our community. Brethren, them are coming up with prostate cancer. How could you have a perfect diet and still coming up with all of these diseases that plaguing other people who are not eating healthy? So we are missing something. We are lacking the basic in our diet, or limit as you might call it. So Sister Jazz, she's an expert, traveled all over the world, studied in England, studied in Europe, and she has the pieces together when it comes to our structure and nutrition and the way we should deal with ourselves in terms of knowing it's not good enough to say I'm vegan, it's not good enough to say I'm vegetarian. I'm reading a book and I'm doing a 10-day, I just showed you that book, 10-day just going green. And when I started doing my research, I was like, damn, I would have been eating all of this stuff that I was told that I'm not supposed to eat. First of all, if you have thyroid condition, you can't go all green and all raw. It's not good for your thyroid gland. So I was kind of like checking this thing on and said, you know, you can't do all greens. You can't have broccoli, then you have, spinach, then you have kale, and you're doing all greens. Because raw green has a toxic in it that you have to cook to release it. So if you're doing 7 green vegetables, you're bringing that toxic within yourself, and it can only release when you're cooking it. You can cook it for 1 minute and then rinse it, but just doing all greens and juicing every single day is not a good thing. Scientifically, it's not a good thing. If you do your research, it's not a good thing. Well, we do take pride in saying, I am all raw and I am all green. But at the end of the day, we are dropping like flies. I worked in a hospital and I see people, all people coming into the hospital because they are all vegetarian and doing all greens and not balancing the food the way that they should balance it. So this is what I'm going to do. And I said, my goodness, it's sliding what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is one of the area of detoxification that we can detoxify through that system, and it's one of the systems that's very important for us to know about and think about and do things about it. So Sister Giles decided that she was going to put the piece together in terms of your digestive system and the oils that you should use, and I would do the piece of the herbs that you should use for your lymphatic system. We have this particular blend, this blend. It has at least 15 different herbs in this little package. And all of the herbs in this package is for the lymphatic system. And you wouldn't know unless you study this herb how wonderful this is for your lymphatic system, to keep your immune system clean and to be working the way it should, and to keep your lymphatic system. It's a filter system to your body. It's under your arm, you have it around your neck, it's in your stomach, and it's in your groin. And you have to detox. We have detoxification organs in our body, and the lymphatic system is one of the most important ones that we have. So Sister Giles is going to put the piece together in terms of the food that we should be eating, and she comes very, very qualified. I mean, really. We work as a team. Someone comes to see us, she put the food together, I put the herbs together, and we just come with a complete diagnosis and diet for the person. Sometimes people don't know what is going on with them. They don't know. Food and herb healing of the nation, and it heals anything. I don't care what you have. If you really transform yourself in terms of your diet and pay attention, you can heal yourself, because the doctor, the best doctor is yourself. Nobody can cure you. When people come to me and they talk about, Sister Cuchy, I'm sick, I want you to cure me. I can't cure you. I can give you information. That's all I can give you. And you can use the information to help yourself to cure yourself. But I don't cure you. But this sister, we feel the same, but we don't cure anyone. It's unfair for us to go around saying we're a doctor. We don't. We just have information, and we utilize the information to the best of our abilities. So, Sister Giles.
Thank you, Sister Cuchy. Thank you, everyone, for having us here this evening. Really appreciate it. Last time we were here was really, for me, an eye-opening experience, and it kind of showed me the people that I've surrounded myself with, because there's such purity that came from everyone who was here, from the little babies up. Everybody was open and accepting and inviting, if I may say so, and just, supportive. So I was really pleased when Sister Cuchy shared with me that we were going to come back this year. Okay, so we're going to go into the lymphatic system, but I'd really like us to get to understand how the lymphatic system ends up being clogged and needs to be cleansed. Does anybody know what belly fat is?
It's excessive unwanted fat.
Okay, how did it get there, do you know?
I would say by eating mostly fatty foods and not stretching and exercising.
Okay, so it's not so much fatty foods, but the degenerated foods, the processed foods. Fatty foods, yes, that will help, but there's more of the refined carbohydrates and, as I said, the processed foods, and a slow digestive system not chewing properly. So the food ends up sitting in your stomach, albeit for a very long time, and over time you keep getting this accumulation. If something has to happen to it. When you eat, you're supposed to go to the bathroom. You eat, you eliminate. So it's a nourishing and a cleansing process. When you don't do the cleansing process, that undissolved, absorbed food has to go somewhere. So it ends up in your gut. This is how your colon becomes blocked. by the way. And what happens in that is your body then has to figure out what to do with all of this stuff that's in there. So it then turns to fat and goes layer after layer after layer after layer. Also in that is a colon that is being blocked up. It's being clogged because there is feces that has been sitting for months and years, and you know, this is what happens. You expand, you can expand that way, you expand this way, and your brain clogs up too, because your body isn't getting the oxygen that it needs. Your brain can't function properly. You can't sleep properly. It affects everything. So one of the reasons that I wanted to do the belly fat is that really is the catalyst for almost every degenerative disease that people struggle with today. Arthritis, pain in the joints, that's a clogged lymphatic system. It's the excess in your stomach, in your digestive system that has not been moved out. Basically, you created a nest for disease. That is what happens with the stomach. Now, I say that, but we must also recognize that there were people who need to cleanse their digestive system who doesn't necessarily have a distended stomach, you know. But for the more people than not need, you can see it physically. It's not everyone that shows that. So just be mindful that we need to eat all of the areas of foods, fibrous, lots of fibrous foods, because the fiber is what cleanses the colon, that pushes it out. If you're having enough fiber, then the belly fat does not come into play, because in your eating, after each, you're going to the bathroom. I know we don't think of it that way, but that's exactly how the system is supposed to work. And when you are eating properly,
I want to ask you what basically is fiber.
fiber comes in vegetables. It looks like little threads, basically, once it's chewed up, or even just, for example, if you cut a broccoli stem, the outer layer, there's a hard green outer layer, and you cut into it and you'll see that's also fiber. The outer layer is the insoluble fiber, which would be the threads once it's chewed properly and it's devoid of liquid, right? Then the inside, that's softer, that is the fiber that is absorbable.
And this will keep people from having what we call pot bellies.
Once your system is functioning correctly, and you're eliminating and you're not overeating or eating the right things. If you're eating the wrong things, if you're eating lots of vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, these are all cruciferous vegetables, which really does not work for people, as Sister Cuchy says, for thyroids. But
So
you have
if you have thyroid, I would advise you to do
the
more
hypothyroidism, you should avoid cruciferous vegetables, basically, because that just compounds the problem. We have 3 parts that we want to move through, and I'm trying to give you a base on the belly fat so that you can begin to recognize the symptoms. One of the ways to know if you are chewing your food properly, which is important for the digestive system, when you go to the bathroom, turn around, look in the toilet, and you'll see either, like I just talked about, the fiber, that's just fiber, and it comes out, feels like it's coming out whole, but the moment it hits the water, it blooms. Okay? Because you have all that fiber, there's nothing to There's nothing to bind it together. Now, when you're eating, let's say you went to the health food store and you got a Johnny cake, right? Or a bakes, as you call them, right? When you poop, your feces is all bounded up. When it goes into the water, it drops on bottom and it stays there bounded up. This is what's in your stomach when you do that day in and day out. Another way to tell if you are eliminating as you should, when you go to the bathroom and before you're finished, the first feces comes out, you hold your nose. You have to get up and open the window or the door or get out of the room. You know that your system is being compromised, right? Because what happens, the food is sitting there and it's rotting basically in your stomach. That's what that smell is, okay? And a lot of that comes from the fact too that you're eating the wrong things and also you're not chewing properly, okay? Sister Cuchy laughs at me all the time, and my sister, because I will take an hour to eat a half a cup of rice, because you have to chew. I have a rule for all of my clients, basically. I start them off by chewing one teaspoon of whatever it is, 60 times. Basically, the food that you eat gets absorbed once it's liquidized. If it's not liquidized in your mouth, which is your saliva, has a lot to do with that, right? With getting the absorption of the food and breaking it down. So when it goes in, the food can then goes to your liver, and then it passes through to the other organs to get the nutrients that they need. So chewing 60 times each mouthful, 60 times is really important, okay? Because it wasn't chewed. Now, yes, there are juices, gases in your system, digestive system, that should break down the food. But if the food is whole, those digestive juices are not going to break it down for you. You have to break it down, and then the juices finish the process. Then the nutrients goes on to your liver. So this is how we end up with a distended stomach, with gas and bloating, right? Constipation, and so forth, okay? The other thing is you need your digestive juices to process the foods that you eat. When you drink while you're eating, you're diluting the digestive juices. That also creates a situation where your body is not being able to process the food that you're eating, okay? So the belly fat, one of the reasons we become ill, I'll just share a couple of the things with you. High blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, joint pain, obesity, lethargy or sluggishness, tired. You sleep, you wake up, you don't feel refreshed. Tension, shrinking of muscles. Your muscles are not, you're not being strong. Your muscles begin to shift, change, because you're not getting the right amount of nutrients. You're probably also not exercising to keep them strong. Okay?
While we're putting these things together, and the lymphatic system, anyone knows what the lymphatic system in here? We don't have it wrong and we don't have it right, just giving information.
Is it a swelling? Because I hear the word, I hear lymph. L-Y-N.
When you have a swelling, then there's a problem. The lymphatic system is what cleans you, filters your body. That's what it is. And this is Jazz. She did a lot of, she put a folder together, and you have the lymphatic system in this area. You have it all over your body, but really in this area, the lymph node, that's when women have breast cancer. When you go to the doctor to check your breast, they don't just start here. They will check here, because when there's swelling, that's not a good thing. You have a lymphatic system throughout your body, but then you have it in these joint areas. So when it's swelling, you have a swollen lymphatic system. Sometimes with men, it might be a prostate problem. You know, you might have prostate cancer, you might have prostatitis, which is also swelling. So that's what the lymphatic system is. What it does is that it really cleans your body. It holds on to the yuck and the dirt, and it just holds on to it, but then you cannot keep it because you have to release it. So we're talking about cleaning the lymphatic system and just allowing your body to heal. So that's what it is. When you have a sluggish lymphatic system, eventually something's going to happen to you. Whether it is cancer, for us women, we have a lot of serious reproductive conditions. Infertility could be a problem. We have uterine cancer, we have ovarian cancer, we have cysts, we have fibroid, all kind of yucky stuff happening to us. They said for men, for the brothers, they usually have prostate problem, maybe a heart condition, maybe a little high blood pressure. But for women, it's like we hold on to a lot. Sometimes people expect us to be strong. We got to hold the family together. We have to work. We come home. I've known sister who, and I'm not putting on the brother. You come home from work and you just sit and watch sport. She comes home from work, dinner is there, cooking, serving, taking care of the children, they're doing the homework. She's the last person to go to bed and the first to get up in most home. You know, not knocking anyone. So we take on someone. So when we as women get beaten down and when our system is run down, we hold on to this toxic or reproductive organ toxic. That's why we have the breast cancer. That's why we have the uterine, the fibroid, the cyst, and you name it, because that's where we hold on to stuff that we cannot release it. So that's why it's important for us more than anyone else to have a clean lymphatic system to release. You know, release, we have organ of elimination, you know, so we have to release these things. So, and I really want to talk about the first thing that I have in this lymphatic system is, I'm going to go with the first thing that I love so much. Start trying to look, everybody know that I love dandelion, right? So, and I just want you to know burdock, and I want you to know dandelion, right? This is called burdock. See how it's strong? I mean, it's really, really, really strong, right? Burdock grows deep down in the earth, not on the surface. Sister Aisha can attest to this, that we went to Queens and we were trying to dig some burdock up. We couldn't get it. Her uncle came and had to go in deep. We still couldn't get it. So we were there like almost all day and we didn't even get a lot. But you have a lot in the park. So this is burdock root, and it's strong. Very, very strong. And it's good for a lot of stuff. I can make this, I put it in my soup, I make it as tea. It cleans the liver, the kidney, the lymphatic system, your skin. It has a lot of minerals. As a matter of fact, I studied under this woman, and her name is Susan Reed. And she have a book, this book, only 4 herbs, dandelion, burdock, nettle, and chickweed. And the burdock within itself has like 30 pages of what it does and what it has in it. It has a lot of minerals, it has vitamin, it's a tonic for the mental health, circulation, it cleans, it gets fungus out of the body, it's good for cancer, it's good for fungus, it's good for skin condition. You can boil it and bathe in it, you can drink it all day, and this is how it makes you really strong and resilient, because this is what it's all about. And she has something that she said, this is Dr. Burdock, and she said, in an infusion, it's good for chronic allergy, nervous system, the blood, the bone, arthritis, rheumatism, varicose brain, your heart system, your nervous system, your skin, your hair, dandruff, any yuck that you want to release from your body, I have chosen burdock. It's good for the respiratory system. It's good for women. It loves women. It loves men. It loves emphysema. It loves the wheezing lungs because it takes care of everything. It takes care of congestion and anything else that you don't think you need to have. It's a skin cleanser. Anything that cleans your blood is good for you. So the tea has, and I'm just going to give you this information so you can make your own tea. So you can just put some burdock root in there. And this book, like I said, it has one more in it that is called Dandelion. So this one is the, where they go together and they love each other. She even have a, this is the dandelion root, this is the leaf, and we have, they have, you know why people are always inventing stuff. They have, this is a dandelion, but they call it roasted dandelion. I don't normally do the roasted, but I tried it and it's very good. All they do is just roast it. This is the dandelion root, this is the dandelion leaf, and this is the burdock. Together, even if you don't want to use anything else in this table, and you use the dandelion, you want to do the root, you want to do this. So we're going to go the blood, the liver, the kidney, the heart, your skin, your mental health, fungus, gonorrhea, you know, syphilis, you name all the issues, and this would really take care of it. Dandelion and burdock combined together. And yes, people still have that kind of stuff, you know that, right? So these two combined together, and if you take it at night, you would stay the whole night going to the bathroom. Don't drink it at night if you don't want to stay, because it's cleaning your system so you're getting up to urinate. And this is what dandelion and burdock does. And we have, this one is called calendula. There's some people who just love the calendula flowers. And calendula is good for infection, it's good for fungus, it's good for bacteria. And this is something that's very good. And I'm going to give you a little story about calendula. My daughter had transplant. She had kidney and she had pancreas transplant. Because she had diabetes for a very, very long time, over 30 years. She was in danger of losing her legs. Well, I'm not talking about one, I'm talking about both. She was so sick that the doctor said they have to amputate both of her legs. I said, absolutely not. This can't work. They don't believe in herbs, of course they don't. One of the best hospitals in New York, that's where she was going. So I gave her a lot of calendula. It got to the point where I couldn't give her any herb because her kidney was, she just had a transplant and it just does not work with the herbs. So I decided, all right, let me see how I can use it. So I called an herbalist that I studied under, and I told her, I want to give my daughter this. She said, why don't you just wash your feet with it? I said, really? So she said, yes. So I got my burdock, which I love, but I put a lot of this, and I put lavender. And I was washing my daughter's toe, Sistah. I just saw her. It was in bad shape. I mean, it's to the point that sometimes you walk in the house, you can smell it from the door. The doctor said to me, doesn't matter what you say. If I have to gamble, I have to amputate. And I said, I don't gamble, but I do believe in prayers and I do pray. So I came downstairs and I washed her toes. She was just, they was gonna amputate. Every single day I would get up 6 o'clock and come and wash it, and this is what I did. I washed it with this, I put some burdock, I put a little bit of tea tree and a little bit of lavender. And I washed my daughter's feet every single day. When we went back to the doctor, she didn't lose her leg, but she only lost one toe. How about that? We're talking about 2 legs. I can deal with that. We only deal with the 1 toe. And the doctor said, I don't know what you did, but continue doing it. And she had 1 toe gone, but she's studying to be a nurse. She's going to graduate next year, and she's fine. So we have this. Don't believe that this doesn't work. And I'm going to go fast. So another thing that we have in here, astragalus. Astragalus, and I see some little babies in here. Astragalus is good for the immune system. It's good for children. People think about echinacea. Echinacea you cannot do long term, but astragalus they can do this every single day. And they don't need to be immunized. I don't immunize my children, and I don't believe in immunization, but astragalus is very good for the immune system. That is what is in this blend. Then we have...
Excuse me, you still use the water foot?
My daughter, she don't need to. Everything healed up. They just took off the toe. That is just That's what it is. So we have astragalus. It is echinacea. For children, astragalus and echinaceas are very good, but when you make the tea, then you start putting the echinacea, and then you can give the child astragalus. And it's very good for your lymphatic system. Then we have this. I want to promote this. This is called red goobers, and this is from Africa. White people are using it like this till tomorrow. Chinese are using this, and we don't know about it.
Red what? Sorry.
Goobers.
Yes.
Now they have it, I don't know who invented it, but they have it in orange, but I don't know the orange one, I know the red one, and it's very good for diabetes, it's good for your immune system, it's good for your stomach, it's good for your overall health. So we have that in the tea as well. I mean, we don't like the name, and I know Rasta is just gonna throw me out of here. Devil's Claw. I didn't name it Devil's Claw, but Devil's Claw is good for inflammation, and it's one of the best things for your lymphatic system. So we have the Devil's Claw inside here, and then it goes with the cat's claw. I'm not talking about cat and the devil. It's a plant, cat's claw, arthritis, inflammation, the lymphatic system. Anybody that has arthritis and have a lot of pain, devil's claw and cat's claw are the two things that you can give them. We have red clover. Red clover for the lymphatic system because it's a blood cleanser and it's very, very good for the entire body. I mean, this is something that cleans the blood. Anything that cleans the blood is good for the skin and it's good for your circulation. And red clover is one of it. Now, we have thyme. Thyme, this is the same little thyme that you cook with. And thyme is also good for the respiratory system and it cleans the lymphatic system. So you have the thyme that you cook with. And you have sage. I'm not talking about the sage that you burn, because you have purple sage, you have what? Black sage, you have white sage, and you have ceremonial sage. I'm talking about the sage that you cook with. It's also good for the lymphatic system, if you the lymphatic system. Guinea hen weed. Guinea hen weed, well, this one came from Jamaica. It's good for cancer. And anything that's good for cancer cleans the lymphatic system. So this cleans the lymphatic system. You won't believe it. Cinnamon stick. Say cinnamon stick and put in your porridge. Cleans the body, it's good for the sugar, it controls the sugar balance. If you have diabetes, you can do a lot of this. And this is also good for the lymphatic system. And the two things here that I have is moringa. Everybody knows moringa? Excellent for everything. I was looking for, I have nettle in this. But because I didn't have the nettle, but the lymphatic, this for the lymphatic system is just that you're using nettle, and this is called a moringa. Use the powder in your smoothie, drink the tea every single day. I mean, eat it, blend it, do whatever you have to do with it. And another thing that I just want to put inside here is the soursop. I didn't put it in there, but I just wanted to talk about the soursop because this is something that you should use every single day. It's good for your heart, it's good for your cardiovascular system, it's good for high blood pressure, high blood pressure, cancer. This good for cancer, but when you talk about the guinea hen, this would be the number one. If somebody have cancer, I would give them red clover, guinea hen, and moringa if I don't give you anything else.
Give thanks and praise once again unto the Almighty for the sisters and queens coming forward to enlighten I further and for such an informative session. Yes, because as we know that Empress Menen championed education and of course health. Following is an excerpt from Queen Nana Faraka that I just wanted to share in her absence. And it's an excerpt as a guide to I Rastafari women in assisting I and blessing I to in becoming Queen Omega's Ayatas. Woman clothes herself with Isla light and lets her beauty shine through a well-regulated life. She is fragrant with the ointment of a good reputation and arrays herself in the garment of modesty. She wears pearls as chaste words. She uses the cosmetics of the fear of the Almighty Jah. She looks into the mirror of the Almighty and is radiant. For her, life is brilliantly lit. Instead of makeup, she allows the beauty of her dignity to shine on her face with the vibration of Rastafari love. As the new millennium dawns, the role of the Rastafari woman is signaled by Emperor Haile Selassie, Rastafari, at the rising of the movement, when he had his Empress crowned with him, instead of a week after, as is Ethiopian tradition. This needs to be forwarded. The significance of the double coronation become more obvious to questioning minds as Queen Omega puts the moon under her feet and rises above the selective, restrictive visions of regulations as her role. The words of Nanfaraka, Queen Mother. So as the time moves on, there's enough more words to give forward on Queen Omega, but I know that Anna are anxious to ride forward into Isis at the same time, and we know that the time is short. I wrote out some brief words down, and I asked her to share. Answer. Good.
Yeah.
This is impromptu.
Yes, I want to greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior Yeshua, the Christ who has in this day revealed himself in the personality of his Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, King of kings, Lords of lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of God and the light of this world. Rastafari. I would like to read this excerpt from Empress Menen. As an educator, I'm proud to read this. Empress Menen established various educational and technical institutions, including the Empress Menen School for Girls in Addis Ababa, which including day and boarding students from all over Ethiopia. Her Majesty also established numerous changes and schools for the blind, not to mention the many nursery schools such as the nursing school in Asmara. Empress effectively supported administrative law, order for the betterment of Ethiopians. And for these few words I give thanks. Selassie.
Blessed love, Queen, give thanks and praise unto them.
Blessed love, Rastafari, thanks and praise for this blessed day, the 127th birthday of His Imperial Majesty, Empress Menen, Mother of Creation. Give thanks for the blessed occasion. Welcome everyone, and I give thanks for being among the sisters and them as well. During the time of the invasion in Ethiopia, when His Majesty had traveled to England to gain assistance, Empress Menen was also traveling in the Middle East, and she also was praying. Well, that was the number one thing she always did, a prayer, And during the invasion, she always encouraged the daughters and the mothers to pray for the soldiers and them that was in the battlefield. And she also made a vow that if Ethiopia ever gained victory, she would give her crowns to the church of Jerusalem. And up to this day, her crown is in the church, I think. I'm not too sure, but it's there because they gained the victory. So I'm just going to read this little word song. When traveling to Jerusalem during the age of the Italian-Ethiopian War, she promised her coronation crown if the Most High would grant Ethiopia victory. Of our course was victory, and she restrained to Jerusalem, not only giving her crown to the Kiddush Miriam Church, but building a spiritual center as well for spiritual growth, as well as what she was doing in Ethiopia. She also took her work to Jerusalem and tried to spread it throughout the four corners of the earth. So the young daughters, the mothers, and everyone could get the teaching of what she represents as a mother of creation. So I give thanks and praise that I could be here today to fulfill the works of Empress Menen and to be amongst all the daughters of Zion. Blessed love.
Yes, as was said, she always was in constant prayer at all times and devoutly faithful. Her Majesty, Itege Menen, did much to support Ethiopian Theravada churches throughout Ethiopia and in other holy lands. She used her personal funds to build, renovate, and endow many churches. Prominent among these are the Kedes Miguel Church in Addis, the Kedane Mebret, Our Lady Covenant of Mercy Church, Zion Church in Antota Mountain, and the Haile Selassie Monastery on the banks of the River Jordan. She gave generously toward the building of the new cathedral at the St. Mary of Zion Church at Axon, which still stands today. His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie spoke of Empress Menen, saying she is very kind in nature and a total stranger to offensiveness. We have since lived in marriage for many years of good and ill fortune by sharing our happiness as well as our hardships. Itege Menen Woletegyoagis supported every aspect of Ethiopian development within the majesty of her imperial She's traveling from a good distance, many miles away. So but give thanks to the presence and royal Rastafari Ethiopian family. Memorial to Empress Menen Earthlight, written by Yared Gabriel Michael, 25th of March 1950 in the Ethiopian calendar. Translated by Adane Wonde Gebru at Addis Ababa University. Empress Menen, Your Excellency, I would like to offer this book for your 67th birthday ceremony. This book may not contain all your biography, but is a small part of it. As I offer this book to Your Excellency, I pray you will acknowledge it, for it is presented to Your Majesty with the most humility. Even though your kindness and charity is well known all over the world, I would like to transmit my knowledge of your good deeds to the coming generation. I was fortunate to observe what was going on in your palace when I was being educated in the compound of St. Mark Church beginning 1916. During that time, I observed in close proximity your kindness, charity, and good deeds. When we refer to ancient historical documents from the time of Adam, we can observe that this is not only men who have struggled for the betterment of our people, women have also contributed a lot, being on the side of men. Women share problems and sacrifice themselves, which makes them sacred and gave them special place in the history of mankind. Next to Queen Tai Tu, our most fortunate and beloved Queen Empress Menen is naturally the one who is the most honorable. Empress Menen is blessed, and rich Queen Menen is kind and job-fearing. She is always with the people by sharing in their problems and finding solutions. Itege Menen stretches her hand unto the poor, such that all Ethiopians loved her. In 1928, when His Majesty Negusa Negas went to the battlefield, Empress Menen administered the people in the capital city. When the enemy's airplanes came to bomb, Itege Menen encouraged the people and worked hard, aiding the soldiers and feeding them as well. In the history of Ethiopia, no one except the King of Kings, Haile Selassie, and Empress Menen has had the opportunity to have as many children and grandchildren, which helps to strengthen the dynasty. Perhaps one or two children may belong to the former king, but they cannot taste how sweet it is to witness their grandchildren's effort and success. Empress Menen since came to this world in 1883 for 67 years of age, accomplished great human needs and charity. This kindness characterized her as a sacred woman, queen of queens. Elders, monks, and priests in the church bear witness to her sacredness.
Royal balance, Empress Menen. Yeah, and I give thanks and praises and do welcome the opportunity. I have to tell the item that I am so pleased to see our sister in the Empresses them stepping up, because there was a time when women them couldn't stand up and talk. Some of the mama them can't tell you that still. And we have come a long way. We have grown. We have matured into this liberty and Rastafari. And I should have taken the lessons and the examples of His Majesty from day one. Even the symbolism of what it meant to crown his Empress on the same day as himself. Because prior to that, the Empresses were always crowned days after the Emperor was crowned. So there's a symbolism that serves something that we must pay attention to. His Majesty has always defended the rights of women. He has always supported the education of women. He sent many of them abroad based on their brilliance to study and to come forward and serve Ethiopia. See? And I, as Rastafari, like I said, still, I'm just glad to say I Empress them a step up and do the works. You know, there's many a times when there is unrest in the house, and His Empress them step up and help to balance the thing and bring it forward. I've seen it happen on more than one occasion. And that is just the iris of Empress Menen. She is true goddess of peace. We saw what happened in Ethiopia during the time of war, the way she stepped up and the way she did guide and counsel the women to support the man who had to go there on the battlefield. We see how she made even so many sacrifices herself. And even said that she would give up her physical crown if given the opportunity to return to Ethiopia. And so she did on her return. She never wore a physical crown since then. See? And we just know we get to celebrate her greatness, or her contributions. She's really the mother of Akibo. Give thanks. Elias? Yes, sir. So we asked and we'd love to see our Empresses continue to emulate Her Majesty and to continue her footsteps, to learn from her examples. Let them see how much monasteries and churches she built in our time. Let me tell you the joke, and trust me, it's not the state money that do it. It's personal funds them taking to them. It's not even. His Majesty said there was never any kind of fuss between them that needed anyone else from outside to intervene. That's all. See? So that take really a balance. That's what it's all about. You know? So we do give thanks, and you know, like we say, we encourage the mamas to continue. Because we need the item. We can't do without the item. You're after I wrote that while ago. A woman can bring forward a whole nation. So let us celebrate our night, feminine. You
It's not to 129th Earthlight of Empress Integra, the year of Menen. Eli, love, life, joy, honorfulness is in the house of His Majesty. Eli Selassie the first, and Empress Menen Earthlight, the first as well. Eli, Marina, the mother of Iration, and I here tonight I elevate this wonderful occasion of the mother of Iration. You know, and the strong willpower there that back up the emperor that we love and chant so much Isis to. Like the Empress, she right beside and the cannonball, the mistress, the powerhouse. Yeah. Give thanks to the host coming, and I program still right to give thanks. And so to definitely have an Empress, not Rasa Iron and man, the Empress name for that. But the name being the other. I will find myself home. Empress Nyabingi from early 1630 abandoned the colonial system. Enough man that question. Nyabingi had a man, a chant now, woman so. And then Nyabingi come from this queen who is a woman in Africa. I am asking myself as a man, and I say we're strong, but who make I and I? No more stronger than I and I. We talk about the woman who come out of here, Let's consider that for a moment, so we have to respect the Empress then. The program starts there with the Empress at knock about when the Virgin and them weak, the Empress then must be stronger. A liar start the program because enough of nine with the here, but the word song continue. For one that amongst us and I we can make a nation, so we have to give that with respect. Sister Archwin, you're the host for the night, we have a song for Black. I want to pass it over to you. You know the violation, you want to put this word Black. Sister Empress, Mama, Sister Archwin.
Greetings and blessings, Rassis and Wazirians. Can't talk too much because you know me have a raspy voice already. But not much I'm going to say. Give and thanks and praises to this highlight full day. And I start from yesterday when we give praises for His Majesty Ascension Day. I know. See, so from first light when we are chant up Ascension Day to today, Empress Menen Day. So give thanks and praises. I don't have much to say, but because all has been said already, and I all know about the Empress from the Iva, from she married to His Majesty, to the children them that she have, and you know the whole trad when she go back with him, the whole trad, she never left him at all. She was always by his side. However, on her departure, I'm going to give you something what His Majesty said about his wife, his queen, his Empress. And this is my spiel. What His Majesty said, he said, all of you knew her well, but she was more intimately known by me. She was devotedly religious and did not lose her faith even in times of hardship. During the memorable days of our companionship, we never had differences that needed the intervention of others. This coming from His Majesty. As Sarah was to Abraham, so was she obedient to me. Our wishes were mutual until we were all separated by the Almighty. Her assistance for the good of the young, the old, and the needy requires no testimony, for it was greater than the thoughts and words. Give thanks of His Divine Majesty, Emperor Selassie I, and Empress Menen Earthlight, his queen throughout his day, the only one and only. Blessed life. And if I may just say one more thing, we must remember Empress Menen only spoke one language, and that was Amharic. She spoke nothing else but Amharic.
The next important thing pertaining to our crown is to know that she went to Jerusalem during the war and give her crown. She rested her crown upon the direct sepulchre of Christ, you know. She actually gave her crown to Christ, and I think them in Jerusalem give the crown to our church, the Church of Nativity. So, as well as Majesty, she was like Sarah, she was a faithful woman, you know.
As I said, everyone is welcome to pull up in this celebration and bring more words, sound, and color and strength to the royal family. Right? Yeah, I would say that I was blessed to trot forward to Ethiopia, as many of the items know, just around the coronation Iowa, into this January of 2018, spending 3 months on the blessed land. And one of the things that I did, just to get right straight to the point, because I would love to write forward if the eyes is, I did get the opportunity to teach at the, what do they call it, Rastafari Development Community School in Shashamane, give thanks, and yeah, because education is profound, as we know, the youths are the future, and you know, it is incumbent upon I and I to give them the resources. So I wanted to thank everyone who gave us strength towards the fundraisers for the book. While I was there, I found that only 10% of the youths then had textbooks out of 500, a population of 500 students. And so through the powers of the Most High and attributions and taking initiative, we were able to raise over 1,100. So that was more than what was asked for, yes, and still it can be very much ongoing. We want to see that the youth can get the book expeditiously, like right away, and then more support will be going forward to the school. So we do that. Because of course, these are the works of our Divine Majesty. We have another word sound from Anana Faraika, one of our Queen Matriarchs that was invited to attend this occasion. In honoring of the Empress, the Rastafari woman has been raised to a high level of recognition. This is important to the Rastafari woman's journey within the evolution of Rastafari movement. She now seeks to let her light shine forth to illuminate the dark night of mental slavery and to contribute her talents to Ethiopia and all those seeking justice for the downpressed of creation. Calling all Ethiopian women. One of her publications. Nana Faraika is a published poet, teacher, and so much more. Come, move the stone of Babylon. Come shake off her tattered garments. Trod and take off her filthy garments. Put on the moon. Put the moon under thy feet. Accomplish this feat. Make Babylon queendom flee. Make righteous Ethiopian shout with glee. Ethiopia, 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 yard. Clothe yourself with the sun of righteousness. Give thanks.
I want to go song about Empress Menen. This is not the coronation, but when she was coronating, the canvas, the color of the canvas shows and it was blue and red, you know. So no fun maybe want to know the color blue what really mean, you know. It's the blue now that shows a sign of purity. You see, it's like a fire now. The blue flame and the hottest flame of the fire, you know. check out the gas stove. When the fire burning, you know, so the flames are blow. Because it goes to a combustion state, go to a purity state before it gets to blow. So you don't smell no gas or nothing, everything was pure. So you know, the sign of blow shows that the Empress is a pure lady, you know? Natural and pure. The blue signifies purity. That's the fact.
Yeah, I just want to block a song about Empress Menen and read a part of the scripture. But if one's noticed, when Empress Menen and even the youths then travel the world, that's when the Afro did get popular as well. And as well as many of her outfits that she wore, it became highly fashionable throughout the world once people saw pictures of her, like her mink coats and all her outfits. But they don't, popularize this because once they know that the Queen of Queens and the King of Kings made many things known to the world, especially not just through materialism, but through spiritualism, this will uplift the black people like it did at that time in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So they keep this information, hidden, but do we have access to the internet? If one's just type in Empress Menen, you'll see many pictures pop, especially in English, just pop up. And you'll see many, the hats, the coats, the mink coats. These people who want to live, quote unquote, lavishly, this is who they mimicked. But they're not going to tell ones that. Hold on. Also, I just want ones to be very mindful of how ones, speak of Empress Menen, and it's very important that ones put her in the right respect, because throughout history, women has been, the history of women hasn't been as popular as the history of men, especially with African history. It's been taken away from I. So it's important for days like this to remember the Queen of Queens and remember what she has done and all the things that she has accomplished, as well as many other daughters in the tribe. So I just want to block a song from the scripture from the iBook. It's from Jeremiah chapter 44. It says, "The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews that dwell in the land of Egypt, which dwell in Migdol, and at the Taphanes, and at Noph, and in the country of Pathros, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the Almighty of Israel, Ye have seen all the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, and upon all the cities of Judah, and behold, this day they are desolation, and no man dwelleth therein. Because of their wickedness which they have committed to provoke me to anger, and in that they went to burn incense and to serve other gods, whom they knew not, neither they you nor your fathers. Howbeit I sent unto you all my servants the prophets, rising early sending them, saying, O he do not this abominable thing that I hate. But they hearken not, nor incline their ear to turn from their wickedness, to burn no incense unto other gods. Wherefore my fury and mine anger was poured forth, and was kindled in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem, and they were wasted and desolate, and at this day. Therefore now thus saith the Lord, the God of hosts, the Almighty of Israel, wherefore commit ye this great evil against your souls, to cut off from you man and women, child and suckling out of Judah, to leave you none to remain, and that ye provoke me unto wrath with the works of your hands, burning incense unto other gods in the land of Egypt, whether ye be gone to dwell, that ye might cut yourselves off, and that ye might be cursed, and a reproach among all the nations of the earth. Have ye forgotten the wickedness of your fathers, and the wickedness of the kings of Judah, and the wickedness of the wives, and your own wickedness, and the wickedness of your wives, which they have committed in the land of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? They are not humbled even unto this day, neither have they feared nor walked in my law, nor in my statutes that I have set before you and before your fathers. Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, the Almighty of Israel, behold, I will set my face against you for evil, and to cut off all of Judah. And I will take the remnant of Judah that have set their faces and go into the land of Egypt to sojourn there, and they shall all be consumed and fall in the land of Egypt. They shall even be consumed by the sword and by the famine, and they shall die from the least even unto the greatest by the sword and by the famine, and they shall be an execration, and an astonishment, and a curse, and a reproach. For I will punish them that dwell in the land of Egypt, as I have punished Jerusalem by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, so that none of the remnant of Judah, which are gone into the land of Egypt to sojourn there, shall escape or remain, that they should return unto the land of Judah, to the which they have a desire to return to dwell there. For none shall return but such as shall escape. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Almighty, we will not hearken unto thee. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of your own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, and in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. And when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven, and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her, and pour out drink offerings unto her without our men? Then Jeremiah said unto all the people, to the men and to the women, and to all the people which had given him to that answer, saying, The incense that ye burnt in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, ye and your fathers, your kings and your princes, and all the people of the land, did not the Lord remember them, and came it not into his mind, so that the Lord could no longer bear because of the evil of your doings, and because of the abominations which ye have committed. Therefore is your land a desolation, and an astonishment, and a curse without an inhabitant, as at this day. Because you have burnt incense, and because you have sinned against the Lord, and have not obeyed the voice of the Almighty eye, nor walked in his law, nor in his statutes, nor in his testimonies. Therefore this evil is happened unto you, as at this day. Moreover, Jeremiah said unto all the people and to all the women, Hear the word of the Almighty eye, all of Judah that are in the land of Egypt. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, Ye and your wives have both spoken with your mouths and fulfilled with your hands, saying, We will surely perform our vows that we have vowed, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her. You will surely accomplish your vows, and surely perform your vows. Therefore hear ye the word of the Lord, all Judah and that dwell in the land of Egypt. Behold, I have sworn by my great name, Aliyah, Selassie, saith the Lord, that my name shall no more be named in the mouth of any man of Judah in all the land of Egypt, saying, The Lord God liveth. Behold, I will watch over them for evil and not for good. And all the men of Judah that are in the land of Egypt shall be consumed by the sword and by the famine, until there be an end of them. Yet a small number that escape the sword shall return out of the land of Egypt into the land of Judah. And all the remnant of Judah that are gone into the land of Egypt to sojourn there shall know whose words shall stand, mine or theirs. And this shall be a sign unto you, saith the Almighty Aliyah, Selassie, that I will punish you in this place, that ye may know that my word shall surely stand against you for evil. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will give Pharaoh, Hophra, king of Egypt, into the hand of his enemies, and into the hand of them that seek his life, as I gave Zedekiah, the king of Judah, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, his enemy, and that sought his life. I'll let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be accepted. Yes, I. So that scripture is just showing I, we must give reverence and respect to the Queen of Queens. But I must never worship her as the Queen of Heaven. I must still give that full respect to Ali Selassie as the Alpha and the Omega, the King of Kings, the one with the beginning without any end. So I just wanted to block that sound so one can be aware of putting the Queen of Queens in the right respect. Aliyah.
I also want to put up on Empress Menen. Empress Menen, she was ordained to her work. She was ordained for the king. Even though we have other empresses that has sit upon the throne, they was never coordinated with the king next to them as an equal balance. So the works of Empress Menen, it was so spiritual and so analytical. That is what led her to His Majesty. And His Majesty had the vision of seeing the virtues that's in her, that he put himself in a position where he knew that within the history of Ethiopia, no empress have been crowned with the king. So it was not an easy thing. He didn't make that decision on his own. He had to get clarity from the high officials, like the high priestess and them. It was like he had to go in court to stand up for Empress Menen, for her to be ordained as his empress in the coronation. So this is why the 72 nations had to come and bow, because her works, her spiritual works, that she was already doing before she even met His Majesty. So it was a royal blessing for her to be the